picked up my laptop and dashed out of the office. I like, how are you playing these games in public, in the workplace? How are you playing these games? Like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, because that's the type of employee that I am. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Well, happy Monday, guys. Today, we're getting into your office stories and mine, whether they're shocking, humiliating, funny. This is your favourite podcast for the crappy commute to the job that you hate. We're back at it again with Run Me My P45. Have you ever sent an email to the wrong person? Because I have. If you can relate. So in this office, I was in a particular team that had its own private office. The rest of the office was pretty much open plan, but my specific office was, my specific team had its own private closed office. So sometimes we would close the doors on our office if we had a lot of like team meetings or if it was just getting a little bit loud. This day in particular, it was just getting a little bit loud. And on top of it, was it just getting a little bit loud? Okay. We also had a meeting, but half the team had a meeting and the rest of us didn't. So I was kind of the admin-y on this team, the admin support on this team. The thing about being admin support is you're not always included on every single thing that goes on. So oftentimes myself and there was 2 other admin supports, we weren't necessarily included on every single thing that went on in the team meeting. And my job and whoever else was on admin, we weren't really involved in this meeting. And they didn't also tell us that a meeting was taking place. They just came in, shut the door, and then started a meeting, had no idea anything was going on, was busy trying to actually do stuff. So it was really, really disruptive. I tried to put my earphones in. I put one in so that I could like try and focus, but then also wanted to be attentive to the meeting that was happening because I would kind of need this information later on and I did want to know what was happening, but I also had loads of admin to do on my computer. So I just tried to block out as much as I could to get cracking on what I had in front of me. And that's kind of how it was in this team. You didn't always know what was happening. Sometimes this group of people would have something going on and then they'd fill us in next week and then they'd want you to pick up the pace like this. And then other times it was like, oh, we need you to be in, we need you to be involved, we need you to, read minds. Is that what you need from me? Because I don't have that ability. No, I don't. I checked, I don't. So either we can communicate, okay, cross department or cross team and make this thing actually work, or maybe you can just write it in an email. In fact, yeah, no, I didn't say any of that. Not a word of that. However, it was very confusing being in a team where you kind of didn't really know what was going on at all times. You weren't really included on everything. And that just don't work for me. Okay. Anyway, this specific day, it was noisy. There was a meeting going on between a few people in the separate office. The doors were closed and generally there wasn't already a good vibe kind of for me to be able to go out of our specific team office and go and sit in the open plan office where it was generally a lot quieter. So this day I was sending an email and it was an important email to some clients. And in the commotion of it all, whilst I was sending the email to these clients, I also had some really important documents that were up on my screen as well that I was in the middle of dealing with too. And the team in their meeting were asking me questions about this specific important document, but I knew that I had a deadline to get this email sent out to these clients. In the commotion of it all, I had accidentally attached this important confidential document. It wasn't people's private data, but it was company data. I had attached that document to the client and pressed send. And in that moment, I pressed send and I thought it was all done. I was like, okay, well, I've sent the email to the client. Now I need to, oh my goodness. Oh my life. What have I just done? It hit me. And in that moment, I know I'm black, but girl, I could have. I promise you, I look like Casper the Friendly Ghost. All the blood drained from my face. Oh my gosh, my heart was in my bum. Okay, I lost it. I picked up my laptop and dashed out of the office, out of there. And I went and found like a boardroom to go and sit in. And I had a colleague in there who was a friend of mine. And I was like, I have just done something absolutely terrible. How in the hell do I fix this? And they were like, okay, first of all, this, let's take it down 3 notches, okay? Can you rescind the email? Okay, when you see when you resend emails, when you try and get that email back, when you try and recover that, you can't unsend it. You can't unsend emails. All it does is sends an email to the people that you just sent the email to and says, oh, by the way, that email wasn't meant to be sent, so this is me unsending. It doesn't get unsent. Bro, what do you mean you can't delete it from their inbox? So we're trying to go to the moon, but you can't delete emails from other people's inbox. So we're going to Mars, but you can't delete emails from other people's inbox. Delete the email. Delete the email, please and thank you. After I send the rescind email, the unsend email, that was absolutely useless, mind you, I was still panicking because it was whether they were in good faith or not, the client was in good faith or not, to go ahead and actually delete that email. So then I contacted both of the clients. It was 2 clients, basically from the same company. So I contacted both of them and I said, you know, please, I sent you this document, please in good faith, could you delete this, etc. And then I had to tell my boss, who had who had entrusted me with this project. And so I went to my boss, tail between my legs, and I said, look, transparency, I want to let you know that this has happened. I have done what I can to contact them. He was very disappointed. Yeah, he was stressed. He also looked like Casper the Friendly Ghost. I'm just going to say so the 2 of us together, twinning, you know. And he said, right, you need to get them on the phone, you need to speak to them, and you need to physically apologise and ask that, you know, clarify what you said over email, because they hadn't responded yet and I was panicking. I was pooing my pants. You see how I said that my heart had dropped to my bum? Like, I was also about to poo my pants. Do you know what I mean? So sorry about that. But like, I was, you know, they didn't pick up. Like, my memory's gone blank. All I remember is sending that email, the fear of God hitting my very soul, dashing, my friend being like, okay, you need to unsend this. I speaking to my manager about it, and then I was so lucky. The client was like, no problem, absolute mistake. They probably didn't really know what they were looking at. I hope to God they did not know what they were looking at. But they said that they would delete the email, and I never heard of it ever again. And I promise you, for the entire time that I was still at that company, I thought that I was going to get fired and that eventually it was going to, like, you know, evolve into something big that I couldn't control, and shit was going to, poop was going to hit the fan and everything was going to go bad. But it didn't. Nothing ever amounted. And that's on real people. That's on real clients. That's on human beings being human beings. And thank you for not ruining my life with that. Here's the thing though, in my defense, yeah, because looking back, at the time, I was very much like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've done this. I'm the worst person. I'm going to get fired, etc., etc., etc. But looking back, I'm like, who closes the door when people are working, gets on, starts to meet, mind you, you know what I forgot to say? They had a big ass boardroom TV screen that they were using as a Zoom call to fill in people who are working from home about the meeting that they was having right there and then. But they didn't, they had the time to arrange the Zoom call, but they didn't have the time to say, by the way, girls, like, by the way, you know, admin team, we are just about to have a meeting, so you can either listen in or, you know, carry on with whatever you're doing. That would have been kind and respectful, don't you think? So looking back, not really 100% my fault. What business do you have, like, having no respect for the rest of your colleagues? Like, how are you playing these games in public, in the workplace? How are you playing these games? Like, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes, and now clients have documents that they're not supposed to have. So that's on you, taking absolutely no responsibility. Because that's the type of employee that I am. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. So that is the story of when I sent the absolute wrong email to the absolute wrong person. And I'm very sure I'm not the only person who's done this. I hope you enjoyed reliving those with me. I didn't, but hey, why not share them? why not share my stories? I want to hear your stories next. So please make sure that you write in and share your stories anonymously to the email address on the screen. And I would love to share your story as well as mine in our next episode. I look forward to seeing you guys next week when we talk about some of my favourite sociopathic managers. We've all had a manager that's been a sociopath. I know I'm not the only one. Raise your hand. That's all of you. That is all of you. So make sure you write in so that I can hear your story about your worst boss. Because I want to know. I want to check, okay? How far on the psychopathy scale is your manager versus my manager? Anyway, this has been fun and I look forward to seeing you guys next week on Run Me My P45.